So let's see today BRM concept, which stands for Business Role Management. Coming first, discussing about the previous names of it. In Versa 4.0, it was referred to as Role Expert, and in Access Control 5.3, it is referred as ERM, Enterprise Role Management, and in 10 and 10.1, it is now currently called as BRM, Business Role Management. Okay, if you see the three names, you can see the word commonly role. So from the beginning, there is a word called role. So this topic is definitely related to the role concept. So what is the purpose of BRM now? So mainly two purposes. The most important purpose is making the role visible for the user while filling the access form in GRC. So actually, when user is submitting the access form in GRC, that we'll see in the next component ARM, the last component. So in that component, actually we have a link where the user goes and submits the access form, and while he is while he is filling the access form, when he searches for the roles, the role should be visible in GRC system. Okay, I'm not talking about in PFCG, but in NWBC. So the ECC role, for example, he wants access in ECC. So when user selects a system name as ECC and then he searches for the roles, that role should be visible in GRC. So this is not possible with the sync jobs. So if you remember exactly in ARA concept, access risk analysis, whenever you search for a role, the roles are visible just by running the sync job. Getting my point? So there is a difference between sync job and then this concept BRM. Sync job will recognize the roles in ECC, but physically the role something should exist within GRC so that the user can select it physically. He has to select the role while submitting the form. So that is the main purpose. So sync job will not make the role presence physically. So it will not make the role present in GRC system in NWBC front end page. But whereas BRM, we make that role visible so that user can select it and submit in the access form. That is the main purpose. And second purpose is automation of role management, or you can say role administration. Role management.
The one doubt.
Yeah.
When we run sync job, so if at all if there is any new role which is being created, that name reflect in GRC, right?
Yeah, you can see the role.
Okay.
Uh, but in the access form, with the sync job, it will not be available. Just with the sync job, the role, we cannot see the role in the access form.
When we as users can see, then why can't an end user see it?
No, even we cannot see, I'm saying. When it comes to access form filling, okay?
Okay.
So in risk analysis page, you can see the role, correct? Just by
Yes,
running the
yes.
sync job, you select the system name and you search for the roles, the role is visible to you. But here, for the role, a role record has to exist within GRC system. Suppose this is your
I mean,
GRC system. So there should
among
be a,
GRC,
tell me.
among GRC we have 4 components, right? So
Exactly.
when if role is visible to one component, why not to the other component?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So
Okay.
mainly, so if it's sync job is enough for run, if to make the role visible within this and all those things, so then we no need of this BRM concept at all.
And
Okay, let me give
Sridhar,
you some more. Yeah, Anand, tell me.
one more question I have. Actually,
Uh-huh.
some companies they have not implemented BRM. So even though they are using like ARM, so that time they are access, mean they are filling the access form, they are submitting it.
Yeah, I'll talk about that also. See, there
Okay.
is a in BRM I told you the role record has to exist, the physical record.
Yes.
Why the physical record has to exist? Because we need to define attributes of the role. So for defining attributes of the role should exist in the system GRC. So what is the advantage of defining the attributes of the role? So that user can search the role based on attributes.
Sridhar, what do you mean by attributes? Is it description?
I'll come to that. So
Okay.
attributes includes like role type, one thing, which business process the role belongs to, business process, and then which function or you can say sub process it belongs to, and project, which project the role belongs to, and role status. So these are the examples of attributes. Getting my point now? So in order to
Yes.
define these attributes, we need some record has to exist. Just like in SU01, how do we create a user record? Like we will be defining the attributes of user, like to which user group he belongs to, what user type is that user, dialog, to which user group he belongs to, what is the validity of the user. These are all nothing but attributes of the user. So we are creating a record in SU01, right? In normal SAP system.
Yes.
In the same fashion, in BRM also, we create the record of the role to define the attributes like this. So why we need to define the attributes? Next question. The question is, so if you define the attributes, user cannot remember the role names. So based on the business process names, he can search it. Suppose in business process, he will put finance and then search. He will be able to see all the roles are belonging to finance. Now just imagine if only sync job is there to make the role visible, all the roles will be visible for the user. He cannot search the roles based on these attributes with the sync jobs. Got something, Angela?
Yes, Sridhar. So based on role information, he will not be able to select it. Rather, the related data about the role that
Yeah.
needs to be added, right?
Yeah, the attributes basically. We define the attributes of the role here in the BRM. So in sync job only directly you need to know the role name. Only if you know the role name, then only you can search it, or you can put the role name or you can search it. But here in with just sync job, you cannot search based on business process. You cannot search based on sub process. You cannot search based on role status, role type. You cannot search. Clear? So only when a record is existing in BRM, the role record, only then the role can be, the user can search the role and then he can select the role, fill in the access form and submit the access form.
Okay, Sridhar. Fine.
Right. And Anand, coming to your question, like so many clients you said they are not using BRM. That is a wrong notion actually. Every person has to use BRM. There is no, what you say? Mm,
No, mostly people are using PFCG in backend system only. So they
exactly,
are not
exactly.
preferring
So, but
ARM.
they have to enable at least some of the settings, configuration settings related to BRM. They cannot skip
Okay.
completely BRM. The one which I told you now, in BRM you need to create the attributes of the role. At least this has to be done.
Okay, means that master data, right? Role master data.
Exactly. So at least that
Then
master
they
data,
will import the role.
yeah, exactly. They are importing the role.
Okay. Yeah,
Getting
yeah.
my
That
getting
I know.
got your point now?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, got it.
actually what they are doing, every client is doing what? So they are creating the role within the backend itself in ECC. And then what they do, they import this role into GRC. And after importing the role into GRC, they define the attributes. And that's how the record is existing in the BRM. And then the role can be selected. That is the first thing I told you. The main aim of the purpose of BRM is making the role visible for the user. So you can put a point by defining attributes. By making the role visible by defining the attributes for the user while filling the access form in the GRC. So whether there are two methods again, like as I said in the process, this is the common method or very famous method most of the clients are using. They create the role here using your normal process using PFCG transaction, regular process of creating the role. And then that role will be imported into GRC and there they define the attributes for it and thus make the role visible in the GRC. Okay, this is a secondary option actually. The purpose of BRM is not this actually. This is not the purpose of BRM. Defining attributes in system is not the purpose. The main purpose is this. Automating the role management and administration process.
Yes, but this one, most of the client they are not using it, right?
Yes, you'll understand better. So when you complete the concept, you understand why people are not using it.
Okay, but means they are preferring existing change management more process, I guess, instead of
Exactly.
doing
They are
manual.
preferring the existing method what we are using currently. They are not going for BRM means BRM is not advantageous. It is advantageous, but you need to be more disciplined. We don't like to be more disciplined. That is the problem. So
Okay.
if you apply military rules in a school, no guy stays in the school, right? Same thing here also. BRM is like more discipline. You have to follow the rules and regulations as per the process. And we security consultants, why should we implement the rules on ourselves? Is a question here. Role administration means it is our task. So while doing the role administration, certain rules are implemented. So this BRM will make that rules, enforce the rules basically. So security consultants are discouraging, they don't want to follow the rules by themselves. That is the main aim. So you'll understand better once you complete the concept, why people are not using BRM, but this part they are using. What you said, importing from ECC the roles and then defining the attributes so that user can search based on the data.
What does role status mean?
Role status is like it is in development phase or testing phase or production phase status.
Okay.
So the role which is in the development stage or testing stage should not be ready for assignment to user. The role which is only in the production status should be available for assignment for the user.
Okay.
Right. Now, so in BRM, if you use completely, for example, automation, now coming to this part, automating the role management or administration process. So generally you have some process like for creating a role, how the request comes. A change request has to be submitted. Some tools are being used for this like Solman or your change management process charm. in Solomon Charm, change access request management. Okay, so in there we go and submit the request, and that request will be sent for approval. Like some of the companies call it CAB, Change Advisory Board. Like this Change Advisory Board is nothing but a group of SAP architects, or you can say SMEs, subject matter experts from every domain or every team sit in this meeting. They discuss what is the necessity of the role creation or role modification, and they approve it. When they approve the request, that's the change request, it comes to security team, and then we start creating the role on working on the role creation or modification. So we only come to know that there is a request only when CAB approves it. So there will be a lot of requests coming from different teams to CAB or this approval process. Only few requests get approved and they come to security. Now, when you create a role, there are certain rules and regulations. So, is approval taken is the first question. So let me write the questions here. Generally, for role creation, what all we need to check generally? Is approval taken or not? First question for role creation. And then, are you following the proper naming convention while creating? And then, after
And the
creating,
requirement details.
pardon?
And the requirement details will mention.
I didn't get you. I'm not getting you. What is that?
I think no. I think we will mention the requirement details.
Requirement details.
Yes.
Yeah, proper details have to be given, right?
Yes, correct.
Right. You can say requirement, proper requirement gathering, correct requirement, and then testing of the role. So after creating, you do the testing generally. So these are the concerns generally whenever you create a role, right?
In the SOD
And
also we need to SOD report.
Okay. So generally we don't do any SOD checks if there is no GRC. While creating in PFCG, we don't do that, right? So the main concern is this one. One is approval, the main concern, and then naming convention. Like you have some naming convention for naming a single role, composite role, and derived role. Are you following the proper naming convention or not? So some people can do a mistakes in naming a role, and some people without approval they start creating the role. So this could happen. So to avoid such things, so we need how to address these things now. Yes. So how to avoid security team creating roles only upon approvals only. Without approval, they should not create the role. How will you monitor or how will you stop creating a role without approval?
If you define workflow, so whenever the user create any role, initially it will go to approval. Once the business is approved, then only you can
Yeah.
create the role.
So if you follow this process, the diagram, as per the diagram we seen here, we create the role directly in ECC. Because I have PFCG access, I can go and create the role. I will not check whether approval is not there or not. So in this case, it is violated. Without approval, I have created a role. So what is the solution for this now? So workflow is fine. So I propose remove
The
PFCG
first one,
access, remove PFCG access to security team. Getting my point? What I'm saying?
okay.
Just imagine if PFCG access is removed to security team.
They cannot create directly.
They cannot create directly. So then we have to depend on the workflow for the role creation. When you are depending on the workflow, it has to go through certain steps. It will definitely pass through all the steps, forcing the user to follow it, whoever raises the request. Even the naming convention can be taken care, proper requirement can be taken care, testing also can be taken care. Everything can be taken care if workflow is defined.
Sridhar,
Yeah.
role creation actually is done in the development system, right? But here, production to production are linked, right? GRC production and
We can also link
main.
development also, right? The link ECC development, create in ECC development, and then from there it is imported. Not from there actually. ECC development to quality, quality to production. From production we import the role into GRC. Or when you are directly creating the role, or if you are initiating the role creation from GRC, that is if workflow has been enabled, then we should have the development system connected to your GRC. Just like you connect
I guess,
production systems, all developments also has to be connected.
so you mean to say we can connect all the three systems, development, quality and production
No,
also?
quality is not needed.
Okay.
Only the creation should be done in development, right?
Yes.
And from once it is created in development, we can use the normal transport system to move it, TMS concept.
Yes.
We move to production. We move from there. We move to quality. From quality to we move to production. From production, we import again. This is not required actually. Forget about import concept. That is what I'm saying. So this is your GRC box. You are connecting with the ECC dev. So for role creation. So from here, this will be created into directly here. Okay. And the normal process follows. The initiation of role creation start from GRC. All the inputs you enter into GRC, and then that role, when you start actually creating and saving the role, that actually goes and created in ECC system. And from here, the normal process. So from you move it from dev to quality and dev to production, dev quality to production. Okay.
Sridhar,
Yeah.
so the roles physically get created directly into ECC development box only, right?
Exactly.
There are no roles
Yes.
in GRC. There's no physical role storage.
Yes, exactly. Physical storage of role will not be there in GRC. ABAP stack. Okay.
Huh.
But in NWBC, there will be the physical storage in terms of attributes, not in terms of T codes and authorizations.
That's okay. Okay, got it. Yeah.
See, for example, I'm initiating the role in role creation here. Okay, in GRC. So what gets stored here as a record is attributes we can store regarding the role. What we
So
store
the
in
information
ECC is the normal T codes and authorizations will be there in the backend system.
PFCG part.
Yes, exactly. Only the attributes get stored in the GRC physically in NWBC page.
Either when we start the creation of role, it will take you to development system, right?
Exactly. So when you start create role, the first step would be this one, define role. These are the steps actually we follow. Define role. In the second step, when you click on maintain authorizations, the system will take you to the backend system like this. It will jump into this development system and creates the role there.
So it is a PFCG transaction.
Yeah, this GRC will execute the PFC transaction, So GRC means the RFC user, which we use it for RFC connection, right?
Yes.
That user will be the creator of the role.
Okay.
I can show you this. We can see this. So when we connect, I cannot show you development. We'll directly connect production system only. So we'll create in production system directly. So the creator of that role, which we initiate from GRC, the creator would be RFC user, not your user ID. So GRC is doing it, not we. So by this I can say we can remove PFCG access to creation access or edit access. You can put display access to your security team. Clear, everyone?
Yes. Sridhar, one more doubt I have.
Yeah.
ECC development is connected to GRC production box.
If BRM is fully implemented.
If if GRC dev is connected to ECC dev,
So if
then
this is
are
the
we
process,
or
see, let me talk. If this is the process what we talked, what Anand said, most of the clients are not using the BRM. Why? Because
yes, right.
this is the problem. They have to connect development to GRC. So avoiding this, what they are doing is they are directly, as it is interlinked, production is already linked, right? So this system, into this system, you normal process, you create in development, move to quality, move to production. And from production, you import into role. You import role here into GRC. No need
Achha,
of,
so after testing everything, you just
yeah,
import it directly. Okay,
exactly.
got it.
After testing and everything, when the role is ready for assignments in production, then we import into GRC and define the attributes there. Last, that is the
We
last
can
step. That is the last step.
right. And that is more easy also. Right?
Yeah, more easier. That's why, see, which one you prefer, more complex one or more easier one?
Easier one. Okay.
That's why BRM is not used. That is the reason
And
people
for
say
deletion
BRM.
also,
Deletion,
same thing we can do.
uh, deletion also, because I had only heard the concept, even I did not use this concept fully.
Achha, okay, no issue.
So I can show you creation because I have tried several times creating the role, but deletion I did not try yet. We can try if you need it. We'll try if possible.
And what doubt I had is basically,
Yeah.
let's say if GRC dev is connected to ECC dev or any system.
Okay.
So this attribute of the rules
Hmm.
in GRC, which are stored at NWBC,
Hmm.
can we transport it from GRC dev to GRC quality to GRC prod?
Okay. Attributes you're talking about.
Uh, or usually only the GRC prod is connected directly to GRC dev.
GRC prod is directly connected.
Achha, okay. So there's no need of transport. Okay.
Yes. Why? Because again, you need not, you have to all approvers and those guys exist in production system only, right? They don't exist in back-end development. First of all, we, clients don't encourage having all the full landscape for GRC.
Right.
They are least interested in quality and all those things. They'll keep development not for testing purposes, for installation and patches whenever they want to upgrade the support packs. They do it in development and they implement in production because they cannot directly do in production.
Correct.
So development is leastly used. We don't treat it as normal. We don't give same importance what we have in ECC development to GRC development. Okay, right. So these are the steps actually proposed by SAP. If your BRM is fully implemented, these are the steps you need to follow to create a role. Like a define role, you log in into GRC, you click on define role, step 1, then you click on maintain authorizations. So when you click on maintain authorization, system will jump into ECC and then creates a role there. When you save it, the role, and again you come back, you have to come back to GRC and then go to third step, derive role. If it is considered as a master role and you want to derive any roles, Here itself you need to decide whether to derive roles or not, and then run the risk analysis, analyze the risk analysis, request approval. So in the process of creating the role, you are going for approval. But in a normal process, we take the approval first and then create the role. So in the process of creation, we are taking the approval. Generate role. Maintain test cases also is a mandatory step here. According to GRC, BRM fully implemented. Even the test cases also has to be done before you save the role finally. You did not save the role, still one step is more. In work, this is a workflow. Still one step is the provisioning step. That is the last step. Before the step, you have a step called as maintain test cases. Means you need to test that role and take the screenshots, and that screenshots have to be attached in the GRC system for audit purposes. Who will do all these things? So that is the reason they are not using BRM for fully, but they have customized it according to their necessity, and they are using it like the way we import, I said. And I'll show you how these steps can be customized. We can skip some of the steps here. It is not mandatory that you follow this. You can customize these steps. Required steps you can pick up and put in your BRM, and then continue, save your BRM landscape, the configuration. Okay, clear so far? So these are the steps. Okay, let me check if system is up. It is, I can show you this one. No luck. Okay, so that's about the concept. Conceptually, that is a concept regarding the BRM concept. So most of the clients are using this concept, only importing concept, which is simpler actually. You normally follow the traditional process of creating the role. You just import the role into GRC, define the attributes, and then the role is visible for the user for selection. So role import concept we have to see. First I will show you this concept. Like if you implement all the steps in GRC, how the role creation would be. And if we customize and only implement role import concept, how the role creation would be. So in role import concept, actually you need to define role. We'll take only 2 steps from this: define role and then provisioning, last one. Provisioning means the role is ready for assignment. So you define the role means defining the attributes of the role, and then the role will be assigned, ready for assignment. And the remaining part, everything in middle, will be done in the backend system. So that is what we do in the role import concept. We take 2 steps, customize the methodology. So we call this as methodology, role methodology. So talk about these words. So we can define so this is actually role methodology, we call it. Steps, basically. Steps in automation, automating the role management. So these are the steps. Okay, so that's it. We have theory concept actually, so we need to go into system and check it meanwhile the other things. So let me know if you want me to discuss any other thing, something else. Okay, and I have one more approver part. I'll just discuss about that. Like we have 2 types of approvers here. In mitigation, like we have mitigation approver and mitigation monitor. In FF concept, we have firefighter ID owner and firefighter ID controller. And here we have assignment approver and role content approver. So 2 types of role owners are there. Role owner can act as a assignment approver, or role content approver. The name itself suggests assignment approver. What do you mean by that? Yes, anyone? Role owner is of two types. Assignment approver or role content approver. So what could be the use of this person? Assignment approver. What will be the role of this person?
Maybe when a request is raised, he will be the person who will approve that role assignment.
Okay. And the content approver?
For every role, we'll be having a role owner. So I guess he's the one. I'm not sure.
So both are role owners only. We can call both of them as role owners. But there is a slight differences between the two. So see again the name, role content. What do you mean by role content?
He will approve whether the attributes can be present in that role or not.
Not only attributes, anything if you change inside the role, like T codes, authorizations, basically role modification. This person is responsible for assignment only. Person who approves for assignment of role. Whereas role content approver, person who approves for role maintenance, which includes role creation, modification, and deletion. So if you do any of these activities, then his approval has to be taken. So a role owner can act as both or can act as only one of the duty. So that is again the client dependent client decision. Same role owner can act as both assignment approver as well as role content approver, or even if you want to keep a different person, for assignment one approver and for role content if you any role maintenance second approver, so you can define that also. It is also possible here in for a role. And this is one more advantage of having BRM. If sync job alone is there to identify the role, can we define approvers, role owners for a role? We cannot define. So I forgot to say one of the attribute is role owner also. Here in the attributes, role owner is also one of the attribute. We cannot define through sync job. So we should have a record in BRM so that we can define he is a role owner for this role. In that record we define who is the owner for that particular role. So this is also one of the attribute of the roles. So to create this role owners, again the same path what we follow for other approvers in other components, like creating the user ID in GRC system first, declare him as role owner in access control owners table, define role owner for the respective roles. Then open the role record. There is a tab called owners. In that you define who is the owner of that role. Okay, clear everyone regarding the role owners. And here I have approval stage, right? Request approval number 5 in the default methodology, role methodology. So this approval will go for the role content approver. Whoever you define as role content approver, it goes for him, not for the assignment approver. Because when you are creating a role or modifying a role or deleting a role, it directly goes for approval, this person's approval. And for import concept, just I'll show you if I have the files. Let me close the system. No, I don't have. Okay. There generally for a role import you can do one by one role at a time. or you can also do multiple roles. For multiple roles, you have a templates. So that template is available in the NWBC page. First, you need to download those templates and then upload the data into system. So that templates also we have to see in the role import concept. How to download the template, how to upload the data. Okay, this is what you look like, file name. It is not there. So in this path you have to go and you have to click on this link to download the path, to download the template. Okay, fine then. So I'll stop it here because we don't have system and we cannot go ahead. Though it will be more of a theory now. So only theory is done. Hope you have understood the concept of BRM at least a little bit. So you will understand more better when you see actually the concept. When we go into system, and then you will understand more better.
Okay, Sridhar.
Right then. So we'll meet back on Monday. Okay, same time.
Yes.
So we'll complete on Monday. First EAM will be completing, and then Tuesday we'll complete BRM also.
Okay, Sridhar. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks everyone. Happy weekend.
Thanks, Sridhar.